Talk a little bit about the comments, not just from H.R. McMaster, General McMaster, but also the CIA director. It seems to have de-escalated the tensions a bit, but have things really de-escalated?
Well, it's been a step back, but it's been a step back that's had some impact in the last 24 hours. So it's an improvement. Clearly, it lowers hostilities, but we have to remember that the exercises begin in just a few days between the United States and South Korean forces. That will lead North Korea to, once again, engage in bellicose rhetoric. And if North Korea tests another missile, which CIA Director Pompeo allowed some room for, that could, too, cause concern, especially if it's the Guam threat.
So it's pretty shocking, I think, for most of us to hear Trump's rhetoric because we're sort of used to a certain way the presidents and politicians and diplomats talk about the North Korea threat. However, the previous leaders didn't seem to do anything to slow down the nuclear North Korea's nuclear ambitions. Is there room for a different turn? Maybe not necessarily Trump's rhetoric, but is there room for a break from the past when it comes to how we've handled North Korea?
Well, they say they're looking for strategic assurances and accountability. That's the term the administration's using. However, bellicose rhetoric is not the way forward, and people don't expect it from a U.S. president. It sends an unwieldy signal, and it's hard for U.S. allies like South Korea and Japan to know just how far the administration will go. Clearly, this is trying to ramp it back in terms of the statements of the officials yesterday and some of the assurances we've heard since.
But to Joe's point, how much of the circumstances that we see with North Korea are results of what President Obama did or didn't do? He had this policy of strategic patience. Did it really pay off? I mean, what came out of that?
Well, and that policy of strategic patience has run through 4 presidents, from George H.W. Bush to Clinton to Bush W. to...
But it was in the last 8-9 years that North Korea made a lot more progress on nuclear missiles.
Oh, sure they did, and clearly from 2002 under the W. Bush administration. But this has been steady progress, and so what we've underestimated is the rapidity of their technology and the rapidity of the advancements on the missile and the nuclear field. So what happens now if North Korea tests a 6th nuclear time? So what does that mean in terms of the response? That could ratchet tensions up. We saw the market respond in different ways this time. They took this much more seriously than they have in the past. Now that's rebounded, but clearly it's had an impact, and it means there's a real threat here. And we don't know what the end game is. We don't know where the off-ramps are.